Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another Bellator fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting some of the key fights for Bellator 266, Davis versus Romero. So without further ado, let's get to the first fight on the card that I'll be predicting. So in our first fight, we have in the light heavyweight division, Neal versus Alex Polizzi. And how I see this one right here is, I was leaning to Polizzi at first, but ultimately I'm going to lean to Neal and this one to pick him to win. Because you gotta realize both these guys are wrestlers. Polizzi might have did it at a higher level and whatnot, but I feel like ultimately a lot of times in MMA the wrestling will cancel. It's not like Neal's wrestling so far beneath Polizzi, especially not with an MMA. In a wrestling matchup, probably pick Polizzi. MMA matchup, I feel like the wrestling gonna cancel out. I feel like Neal's gonna know what to expect from Polizzi, be able to address it. I feel like he's a bigger, stronger man, the truer light heavyweight, and also when you got the wrestling or grappling cancel out, it goes to the other facet. I think Neal is the more polished striker, definitely packs more power. And I think he's the more technical, heavier hitting, better striker in this one. So I feel like he's going to be able to address the wrestling. I feel like the wrestling's going to cancel out or it's going to be pretty even. But the striking is going to be where they differ at. And I see this tight matchup, very close fight, very hard fight. But I see Neal getting his hand raised in a tight, close decision. Probably, like I said, with his power and striking edging it. I feel like Polizzi might be to come on late, potentially, but again, you're dealing with two fighters, especially on Neal's side, a guy where you really haven't seen him truly tested against some solid competition. We've seen Polizzi in there with the former middleweight champion, Rafael Carvalho, but as far as Neal, we have not seen him fight anybody decent, so it's like really hard to judge as yet, but so far through his career, amateur undefeated, professionally undefeated, but this will be a big test for him, but I think he'll be able to pass it, but I see him in a competitive performance, back and forth, but that power, the striking edge in a matchup between two wrestlers being the deciding factor. So in this one, I have Neal via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the lightweight division, Georgie Karahanyan versus Saul Rogers. And how I see this one right here is two very high-level fighters, two well-rounded fighters, definitely dangerous everywhere. And I think maybe the one edge that you kind of pick, matter of fact, like two edges, and I think they both go to Karahanyan, maybe three. And Rogers, I feel like he got the power on average over Karahanyan, but experience goes to Karahanyan without a doubt. And I think the wrestling goes to Karahanyan without a doubt. Jiu-jitsu probably a little bit of a lean, but wrestling definitely goes to Karahanyan. And I feel like this would be a very tight matchup. And I could definitely see it being back and forth, a lot of bombs being thrown, challenging each other in every single facet of the game. But I feel like Karahanyan will be more aggressive, be able to press the pace a little bit more, threaten with the wrestling more, and control the position more, like a very tight matchup. I feel like Rogers' best chance will be to catch him within the chaos when they're trading in the pocket and look to find the cleaner, sharper shots and potentially turn his lights off, turn his light bill off on Karahanyan. But other than that, I see it was like a back and forth battle, and I feel like Karahanyan's scramble ability, his wrestling ability will allow him to get the better positioning in the grappling exchanges. Also be the one more so initiating these grappling exchanges and just win the position battle. I'm not saying Rogers won't have his moments, won't have his top position at times, but I feel like Karahanyan will have better control of that. And that top control time, takedowns, and probably having more takedowns, having more control time, and just in general having more control in a very tight matchup, back and forth, war, it's going to lean Karahanyan to get the decision. I feel like the striking got to lean out of the way, but I feel like ultimately the grappling, a little small margin that Karahanyan's going to have over him in the grappling, along with that experience, it's going to allow him to, carry him to a decision victory over Saul Rogers. So in this one, I have Georgie Karahanyan via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, Deanna Bennett versus Alejandra Lara. So how I see this fight between Bennett versus Lara, I feel like Bennett definitely can have a pretty solid edge, but I don't feel like she's going to be able to force it that well. Because on Lara's side, I saw her last fight, or maybe her fight before last, by the way, it was the Watanabe fight, I believe. And I picked Watanabe to beat her because I saw that Lara is, a fighter that loves to throw kicks. And a lot of these fighters that love to throw kicks, for whatever reason, seem to also be people that love to, have Pettis syndrome in a way where they get taken down, get their kicks caught, get taken down, and then they'll try to, battle off their backs. And it's not like you got a limited time and you could end up losing a lot of fights just by engaging off your back instead of working to stand up, or maybe using your hands more so you're not getting your kicks caught and getting, being predictable, getting your kick caught, and then getting put on your back. And then while you're on your back, you're playing guard, and your opponent just neutralizing you and just winning by being on top. And I saw that in Lara. And I saw Watanabe, though her striking was so stiff. Her defense, she was stiff as a board as far as striking and defense, like just straight up right, very stiff, very hittable. Chin could have moved if she wanted it to. And she was tagging her, but when Watanabe got to the ground, it was like Lara just played guard. The takedowns were there, throw, kick, court, take it down. So, yeah, you see the stuff, tendencies there. But Bennett's like 36. I don't think she engages in often with the grappling you will want to. Like, I would want, going to this fight, if I was her coach, I would want her to look for those kicks, catch them, look to drag her to the ground, look to hold her down, position over submission, and just flat out maybe try to get the half guard, just do anything to lock her down and just keep her down, or threaten with submissions, or, keep her busy on the ground because she's going to try to grapple with you. And just grind it out and grind out a decision, let the clock wind out and keep that top position. But I just feel like Deanna Bennett is not going to initiate the grappling as much as I would want her to. If I was picking her, which I'm not, I just feel like she's not going to be engaging enough with the grappling. And I'm not saying she's so much a better grappler, so much this, so much that. I just feel like she does have more than enough skill to be able to address the submission game of Lara off her back. So if we put Lara on her back and defend the submissions and keep it on top, land ground and pound, stay consistent, and ground out a decision potentially. But what I'm feeling this one, like I said, not going to engage enough with the grappling. On her feet, she's not a bad striker at all, but compared to Lara is just much more fluid, much younger. I just think she's flat out a more technical striker, better footwork, much more dexterity, just faster, sharper. I think on the feet, I'm not saying she's going to beat her by a mile, but I definitely think she can put a good bit of distance and strike output and lands over Bennett. And definitely landed differential, she'll probably land more strikes, take less strikes, probably like 20, I'll say about 15 strikes, at least 15 strikes more than Bennett does in this one. Just being faster, being sharper, more active, more younger, younger and whatnot. And Bennett again won't be engaging in the grappling as much as she will like. And it's also not like Lara's some slouch on the ground either. She'll be able to get some positionings on the ground as well, be able to reverse, maybe take her back, maybe take advantage of a scramble here and there. But again, I think Bennett's not going to be active enough on the ground or looking to get to the ground. And on feet, Lara is going to be younger, faster, sharper, the better striker, and just out-striker, out-pointer to a decision. So in this one, I have Alejandra Lara via decision. Now to our co-main event, we have in the welterweight division, Gracie versus Mark Leminger. And how I see this one right here, between these two right here is, when I look at Mark Leminger, it's just like, not a bad fighter at all. Not at all. But what does he really bring against Gracie? I don't see nothing. His wrestling, not nothing to really write home about. His grappling, not nothing really to write home about. His striking is really not nothing to write home about. Maybe he can get, stick around and like I said, he's not a bad wrestler, not a bad grappler at all. Without a doubt, not a bad wrestler or grappler. And that could give him an angle where he can at least stay competitive with Gracie and not be got to get taken down and submitted in like a snap of a finger. Like he's competent there. And then try to engage Gracie in like a brawl or, get him to strike more, get him to work more out there. And then that presents some Leminger's opportunities. But just from a pure paper on paper or whatever the saying is, striking, I would give Gracie. Grappling, I would give Gracie. I even give Gracie the wrestling, to be honest. I give Gracie every single advantage in this one. But like I said, if Leminger can make it a fight, can make it tough, make him have to work, that was presents opportunities for him. But ultimately with this one, I just feel like Gracie's going to be able to outstrike him, slowly work him down, score takedowns on him, control him, beat him to position, and just slowly break him down, and just like a snake, and just slowly put the squeeze on him, and then put him out in the second round. So in this fight, I have Gracie via second round submission. Now to our main event, we have in the light heavyweight division, Romero versus Phil Davis. And how I see this matchup between Romero versus Phil Davis is, Romero is without a doubt 44. And no matter how you look at it, how phenomenal, no matter how much of a super soldier, how much a soldier of God, how much this man is chiseled from the very Greek gods themselves and a biblical creature and whatnot he may be, age affects all of us. And it has definitely affected Romero, even though some people might say, oh, he's gotten better, he still can continue better, still looking this, still looking that. It has affected his style without a doubt. But yeah, it has definitely affected his style. Now, I'm interested to see how going back up to 205 will affect his cardio. Will it give him another burst, or will it be more of the same? But what I would say about his cardio and how he has changed his fighting style as it has went on, I don't know if it's about experience or age. I think it's a combination of both. But as he got older, I think definitely after the first Robert Whittaker fight, I think that's when his style started to change a little bit. He started to kind of, be a tank in his way. Like, he'll take some damage, or not really a lot of damage. Like, he'll shell up, he'll roll with some shots, kind of like similar to Robbie Lawler does. Like, he'll shell up, take some shots, look for you to make mistakes, but for the most part, he'll kind of conserve himself. Like, one round, he might just be on defense and limitedly, during offense, limitedly exploding. And then kind of as the fight settles down and, gets into like the second, third round, depending if it's like a title fight, maybe the fourth, fifth, or third, fourth, fifth, or if it's like a 3-round fight, maybe he'll give the first round and most of the second. Then he'll kind of start to come on in the second round. The end of the second round, and then come on in the full third round. Like, he'll pick and choose when he lets his offense goes off, because like he's an older man. He don't got the same cardio as much. Like, he only got the same gas tank, the same reserve, so he got to be limited. Also, he's a chiseled guy, not only been old, but carrying so much muscle. He has to really be wary of how much energy he's expending and when he's expending it. So I'm definitely saying that a lot with how he uses energy. But in this one with Phil Davis versus Romero, I feel like Romero will be kind of, like I said, fall with that same pattern. Like, he'll be limited with his energy, probably try to walk Phil Davis down, kind of stay in front of him, just give the look of like he's going to do something, and every now and then use his time, use his speed. I definitely think he'll be the better striker. But again, like, when you're limited like that, I feel like Phil Davis will be able to outvalue him. I think Phil Davis will be able to beat him to a decision. But what I think will be the case is, like, he'll be trying to walk him down, kind of stay in front of him, try to draw out shots from him, and then try to counter them early on. And Phil Davis, he might be able to catch Phil Davis a couple times, but Phil Davis has a pretty solid chin. Phil Davis is the longer, younger, fresher man, kind of riding in his prime at this given moment. But yeah, like, he'll be able to take advantage of Phil Davis, probably catch some good clean counters, but ultimately Phil Davis will maybe get caught, but not too clean, wear the shot, then continue to go on offense, threaten with some wrestling. Both guys are high-level wrestlers, so it's definitely not going to be like a whole record great successful from wrestling from either guy. Probably limited success in wrestling, but Phil Davis will probably be more active, threaten more shots, give Romero to look more. And so that's going, while Romero's trying to look to counter the shots or the volume of Phil Davis and draw out shots early from Phil Davis, Phil Davis will be looking to, freeze Romero up and keep him honest with the threat of takedown. So it's going to be a very, like a chess match when you got these guys, like, very high level, but entering the older age. Kind of similar to what, like, happened with Cheetah versus Davis in both fights. Like, it's going to be a chess match. Maybe not the most exciting fight, like I said, going to have his burst. But ultimately, I feel like Phil Davis is going to be the one most consistently active during this fight throughout the 3 rounds, whereas Romero mostly going to come on probably in the third round. First round limited, second round limited, but third round burst. And for the most part, Phil Davis is going to be the one to outwork him, looking to threaten with takedowns, maybe score a takedown here and there, wall and stall, and then just throw out kicks and fight at distance, coming every now and then with some punches, but mostly sticking at distance. And Romero just constantly trying to find counters, trying to cover that distance. But again, just not active enough and limited output. And also, I just can't really see a finish necessarily materializing for Romero, because Phil Davis has never been finishing. He's been in there with Anthony Rumble Johnson, took plenty of his shots. I've been in there with some other hard hitters, and been there with Bader twice, and what's the current champion in this weight class twice. So he's definitely been in with some heavy hitter guys, and like had never really been all that rocked. So Phil Davis got a solid chin on him, and also he's awkward, so you can't really hit him too clean and really load up on him, because guys always is moving weird and doing weird stuff. So it's going to be hard to really find those clean flush shots. And on top of that, he got a chin. So, and also the threat of wrestling, that's always going to keep you honest. I feel like Phil Davis is going to be outwork him, and beat Romero to a decision. Probably still a tight, close decision, maybe even a split decision. But I just got Phil Davis winning basically on work rate. So in this one, I had Phil Davis via decision. And that concludes my fight predictions for some of the key fights for Bellator 266, Davis versus Romero. And as always, thanks for watching.